Thank you so much. Well, hello everyone and happy Monday. Very excited to have you all join me today for our keychains with your Glowforge Aurora. We do use the Q&A section in these workshops, so if you have a question or comment as I'm going through information, please do not hesitate to drop it in there. The Glowforge is the Glowforge Aura is a new product. So we're all still learning about it, and I'm learning every day as I work with the machine. But we thought, one of the key parts of working with a Glowforge Aura is how does it fit into what you're working on? So if you have a small business or you're working on starting a side hustle, how does the Glowforge fit into there? And one of the thoughts I had was I really have a lot of fun with keychains and making keychains and sharing keychains with friends. So I know that they're a big item at markets because it's something that you can easily customize to your location or to individual people. And you can really get super creative with the Glowforge Aura. So we're going to talk about a couple of different techniques to use the Aura to create different types of keychains. And if you're not in a market, you can really add that personalized touch by adding a name on using your Aura and the different materials that are available. So we're going to talk about some of the different materials that you can cut in the Aura. Today we're going to work with some of the acrylic materials, and you can find the proof grade Glowforge materials at Michael's, and you'll notice that on the acrylic piece here, it has a QR code. What that QR code does is when you put it in your Aura, the Aura camera recognizes that QR code and it tells the machine what settings to cut at. So you don't have, there's no worrying about, do I get the right setting? Is it going to cut right? When you're using the Glowforge or proof grade materials, it's always going to cut properly. So as you're getting started with Glowforge, I really want to recommend that you stick with some of the Glowforge materials as you're getting started, but the Aura can cut so many different materials that you're really only limited by what you're willing to try. So one of the tools, two tools I'll share with you that I have when I kind of go outside the box of the Glowforge Aura materials. One is a digital caliper, and I use this to get in inches the width of the material I'm cutting. So if I'm not using a Glowforge material with the proof grade QR code on it, you can just take your caliper and measure exactly the width of the material and get this and start getting your settings for that. It may take some trial and error. You may cut it with one setting and go, oh, that didn't work. Let me go back and try another setting. So just know that you may have to play around with that and ask other Glowforge users what setting they found. And then I also have this big roll of masking tape. You can get one that's 13 inches or 12 inches, which might be easier than the 6-inch one. But when you're using like basswood or something like that, you want to add your own masking tape to it. If it doesn't come masked, all of the Glowforge acrylics and woods will have a masking on it, and that keeps your Glowforge from burning into the wood. So it just protects the wood that you're not cutting or the parts of the wood that are not being cut, and same with the acrylic. So those are some of my tips and tricks on using the different materials. And you can really cut a lot out of a sheet. I don't throw any pieces away. I have like a little bin, and I keep even little tiny pieces as small as like this corner, because you never know when you're going to need a small piece of something. And as long as you know what the material is, then you can quickly and easily get your settings from there. Now, make market wood is also really great to use in your Glowforge Aura. And again, it does not have the masking on it, so you want to use the masking on that. One thing I really like about using the Glowforge material specifically is it has this really nice polish to it. So when you're finished with your project, it really gives you a very professional look. So that is one definite benefit to the using your Aura materials. Let me just slide some of this out of here. I'm going to pull over my overhead camera, and we'll start talking about some of the different keychains I've made. couple keychains we're going to do. I don't want to hold it up yet. So let me just switch over to my overhead camera so we can, you guys can see that in action. Okay, so here we go. Oops, why is that out of focus? Ooh. Funny, on my camera it looks really in focus, but on here it does not. Let me switch that around. That's weird. I mean, okay, maybe it came back. Did it come back in focus? Okay, there we are. We're back in focus. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All these technical things can sometimes cause a problem. Okay, so I've got a little bit of light here to bring onto our project. The first practice we're going to talk about is using acrylics and cutting out a name. So I cut this out to show you how to assemble it. And then we'll go into the software once we've kind of gone through the different types of keychains, and I'll show you how you can write a name and then create the offset piece to it. So with something like this, I like to use my little weeding tool, and I just kind of get in there and I'll take my, there's a masking paper. You want to remove that off of your piece and expose that beautiful shiny acrylic. So it just peels very easily. It just peels right off. And you keep that on when you're doing your the actual cutting. And sometimes you can see on the back, you know, it burns it just a little bit, but that does not harm your project because it's on the masking. So it just comes right off. And then this is the black Eco Thin proof grade Aura acrylic. So you can just pop this off. Now, this is somebody's name, but wouldn't this be fun, like with the word joy for the holidays or something like that? Or you can take, if going into the new year, an idea is to create keychains or name tags with somebody's like word of the year. So if they're really excited about something and they're going to use something like adventure or whatever their word of the year is, to make a keychain for them using the word of the year. Now, I like to use the E6000 glue. This one's really goopy on me. Let me put that cap back on. I'm sorry, I don't want it to be so goopy. It should come out thinner than that. So let me grab my other one. This is another one I use, the E6000. This is a repositionable glue, so it works a little bit. Once it's dried, it's a permanent glue, but you can kind of wiggle it around a little bit, which is nice, and it also dries clear. Now, when you're gluing your pieces together, you can use acrylic. I'm sorry, you can use super glue will also work. There we go. I let such a little bit to come out. So I just want to have a little bit on here, and sometimes like I'll even take a brush or my finger, depending on how clean I can be, and just sort of make sure I don't have too much glue in any one spot so that it doesn't seep out of the bottom of the design. So once I have that glued on, I can just kind of go back a little bit and just clean that up. Now you can also use, like 3M has an adhesive backing that you could replace the masking piece with, and it already has the adhesive on it. When we use the veneer, it has that on there already. It has like a little adhesive piece on it. So I'm just going to slide that onto the keychain here. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll add the dot. So I'm leaving the part on until the masking part on until I'm ready to remove it. So once this is dried, I'll remove that masking part, and I'll add the hardware onto the keychain to turn this into a full-size keychain. So here we go here. I do like using like not a glue, but just the paper adhesive, which is really great. So you can always use that as an option. And if you need to kind of clean up any little spots, you just kind of clean that up right there. So we're going to set this aside, and I'll let this one dry, but this is how you would assemble a keychain with a name. Now, once we peel this off, it will turn, you'll see the black. So I don't think that the machines are available to rent at Michael's. I think you do need to purchase the machines to work with them, but I could be wrong. Maybe there are some Michael's that have, there might be some Michael's that have like studio space set up for you to be able to use that. So this is another type of keychain I used, and I cut this one out in two different formats. One, I used, this one is scored. I'm sorry, no, this one is etched. This one on the left here is an etched technique. So what the etching does is fills in the letters. So when you have a full letter like that, the etch technique will fill in the letter. The score technique will just do the outline of the letter. But what's really fun about that is you can then leave the paper on and grab acrylic paint or an acrylic paint pen and come in and fill in those lines. And these lines might be just too small, but we're going to go in there and get it in there. So I'm just filling in the lines. And I want to make sure that the paint really covers up the whole line as I'm going through. Now I leave the masking on for this technique because I don't have to worry about going outside the lines. So you can just paint right on the lines and on the masking, and it won't go through. It shouldn't go through. You can use, so this is an old paint pen that I had in my stash. I pulled this out, but you can also use acrylic paint on these. The acrylic paint works really well as well. And you can even use these other types of paints I use. So like I use the these paint pens and the Posca paint pens. These turn out really pretty. But I kind of wanted this to be a pink and black sort of nutcracker feel to it. And work with that. Does anybody have any questions about the painting of your acrylic? No, you're not yet. Okay. One thing, some of the designs you can bring in, upload your own designs into the Glowforge software. So this is one design that I uploaded. If you upload this design as, say, a PNG file, you can only etch the design. It won't let you, I believe it won't let you cut. The software doesn't recognize PNG files for cutting, only for doing an etch like this one. You have to upload it as an SVG file in order to be able to cut or score lines. And so that's just something to keep in mind in the software if you're uploading alternate images, how to upload those images so that you can get your own design in and have it do what you want it to do. So like if you're working with your high school, let's say you're going to do a craft fair at your local high school and you want to upload your school's logo, you need to upload that in an SVG format to cut it or to score that line. Otherwise, it will just do the etching. So you could do, an ornament like this, either an ornament or a keychain, class of 2023, if you guys believe we're there. And you can just upload that design as you go. All right, I'm going to set this aside. This is taking me just a little bit longer than I anticipated. I should have done a paint and paintbrush. But it's just taking me a little bit longer than I anticipated. So I'll come back to this one. I'll let some of it dry and I'll come back when we have some Q&A at the end. So I don't want to forget this one, but I just want to show you that you just really paint over those lines, make sure it goes into the lines, and you don't have to be clean about it. But we'll get this one. I'll finish painting this one when we're doing Q&A. That's okay with everybody if I move on to our next project. I will come back to you. Tell her we'll come back. Okay, so another fun project. This is a great template that is in the Glowforge software on their website. So you can use, I cut this out of wood and then I cut the little smiley face out of acrylic. And then I can layer those together. Now, what's great about these is you can actually have, if you're going to a craft fair or if you're trying to just plan ahead, you can have your pieces already cut out, and at a craft fair, just put in the base in your Glowforge and engrave a name onto the base during the fair, the market. You can also color these. So if you want it, if you're doing like a children's market, you could have these available for people to color. So you could engrave a design on the front of it, more score a design, and then people can come over and color it. These are great for if you want to do a whole family, like have a family of stick people or smiley faces or something, and then put the family name underneath. As a one-off, you can do this right as you get it done. So this is going to be, this is the wood one, and I'm going to show you how we're going to take this one, and I'm going to, on the other side of it, I will add a name and engrave a name on it, and then we can add the little smiley face. The acrylic smiley face took about 12 minutes to cut, and this took about 2 minutes to cut. So I'm leaving, I went ahead and cut our little smiley face out, and we can save those pieces down the line. Now, a third one, another assembly one, and I have this one in process to show you all the finished version of it, because when you're cutting out little pieces, so this is very similar to the one we started with, except the instead of having a full circle of a flower, I did a pumpkin, and I needed to remove the backing, this outline of the pumpkin from the design. So what I did was, on the front side, I put a piece of blue painter's tape and repositioned my pumpkin into the smiley face. Now, what I want to do is show you how you can come back in with your pumpkin repositioned, how you can just come back in. We need to remove the outline piece. So we're going to remove that piece very gently and carefully. You just use your weeding tool and get it down in there, and then push the parts that you want to stay back onto the blue painter's tape. Very carefully push those back, and then you can lift out the part that we are going to remove. That will come right out. And if a little piece sticks out, you just pop that out and put it back. Now you can also then use these little pieces here, the pumpkins that we didn't use, nothing goes to waste. You can use these and make earrings out of those little keychains, out of those earrings, out of the pumpkins if you wanted to. But the purpose I'm showing you here is, again, we're going to add a little bit of adhesive on the back of each of these pieces so that they will, they'll stick down in on your blank. So we'll just pull this out. Now, because these are so tiny, what I want to show you is you can do this in parts. So we're just going to remove the film, and I'm going to leave the film on the rest of the pumpkin, because we're going to come back to the face and put the rest of it back in at the end. So first we're going to get all these little pieces removed, and we're going to put this, we'll line this back up on this piece here, like that. But we'll have the adhesive on the back. So I'm just going to take my glue again, and you just need a little dab will do ya. So we'll just put a little adhesive on each of these pieces. Like this. Oh, the guy wants to stick out. Put that on there. Okay, now we're going to keep your blue painter's tape on the back of it. And I have that lined up, so I'm just going to take my face and I'll turn it upside down. So when I turn it upside down, everything is held together. And then we're just going to line that on the circle here. And I did lose a little piece of my pumpkin, but that's okay. I'm going to come back for him. We'll put that back on there when he's dry. So we're going to let that guy dry. Okay, so I bet you all are excited to see what's the first step? How do you get it started? So let me share my screen with you. And what I'm going to do is take you into the Glowforge software. So the Glowforge software is cloud-based. So you work on it on like a website. And then what you do is you can either go to the catalog and view all of the images that are available for you. Let's see. Oops. Go back here. Go to our dashboard. This is where we see all of our designs. So you can see what designs are available for you to work with. You can search for something. So if you're starting to work on, let's say, holiday ornaments, or let's just do ornaments, and you'll see a whole library of ornaments come up. And you can, if you have they're free with premium, or you can do it like a pay as you go and select different ornaments to work with. When you've selected one, you're going to add it to the catalog. So what I did here was I had my customizable retro smiley face keychains, and I brought those onto my dashboard. So this one here will cut the background, and then these parts will cut all your smiley faces. For the background, each time you have to bring one onto the canvas, and you do one at a time. So since I had played with this one before, I just need to reset the design. And this now is the original portion of the design. So I'm actually going to bring it down here, and I'm going to put let me get it out of that spotlight there. How about I put it right there? I'm going to put the piece that I already cut back into the Glowforge. Felicia, can you highlight the Glowforge camera, or do I need to do that? Okay. Oh, let me stop sharing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You have to stop sharing. Thank you.
Okay. Yep. So I put another little piece of masking tape on the back of my ornament, and the ornament has the masking tape all around it on the front side here. So I'm just going to lay this back in. So I guess what I'm saying, the reason I'm doing it this way is that I want to show you that as you work, if you're going to a market or you're trying to build up inventory, if you want to sell these, then you can pre-cut the design. So this is the ornament or the keychain itself pre-cut. Now, if I want to add text to this, I can just go to the text tab and add a name to this keychain. So let's say I want to do this for my niece, Felicia, or whoever you're making it for. And you down onto the keychain, you can see exactly how to line it up onto the piece of wood you've already cut. You can change your font. So if I wanted to do like something that's trending, and let's say find a really fun font for this one. Let's say I wanted to do that. Oh, Felicia too. Felicia's our moderator today. So I have two Felicias in my life. Okay, so there we go. So now I can just put that in the center, and my material that I'm working with is the light basswood plywood. So I select my material, and then I'm just going to readjust this and make sure I've got it centered as best I can. And see, it tells me that it's going to engrave it. So now when I'm ready to start, all I do is hit the print icon up here in the corner. And what it does is there we go. So I just cleaned my rails, and now it's going to find the image and do a calibration. So see how the rail moves? And it's going to make sure that it's calibrated. It just takes a minute or so to get it calibrated. And then once that white light flashes, that tells me it's ready to print. And they always call it printing, whether you're cutting, engraving, or scoring, it's all considered printing. As soon as that light flashes, I'll be ready to hit print. This is where the magic happens. Okay, I'm just going to check on my software, make sure it's not giving me any error messages. So we'll share the screen again. Nope, it's still thinking. So you can see how it's calibrating, it's preparing, and then it will tell me how long it will take to cut. Now, I noticed my Felicia is a little bit off here, so I need to readjust that. I don't know how that moved, but I'm going to stop this. I want to stop this and redo it. Let's see if I print it again, if that will do it. Okay, so I need to cancel this print. My Felicia moved. So let me try this one more time. We're going to hit print. And we'll watch it from this way, how it prepares the print. I always think doing live classes like this is great because you get to see things in action. So if I wasn't happy with it, I can just go back and fix it. And now I'm ready to print. So I'm gonna go back, stop share here. So my light is flashing, and all I need to do is walk over and I hit the button, and it will start working on doing the engraving of the name on the keychain. So it moves, the head will move over, and it will start doing the engraving on the keychain. That little piece that kind of you see connected to the back, that's the part that communicates to the head where the mirror, where the camera is, what it needs to engrave. And it will just move back and forth doing small etching marks as it goes. Pretty cool, isn't it? So does anybody, I have questions about the difference between the etching and the scoring. So the etching does the fill in, it'll completely fill in the word, whereas the scoring does the outline of the word. And we're not cutting, so I'm just doing the etching. So if you're doing, if you're getting ready for a market, but you don't want to do, maybe you're doing you service 4 different high schools or something like that, you could have your different cutouts done and then add names of the high schools or marching band, you know, whatever you want to add onto there as you go through. And so do you guys, let me know if you don't want to see this run through. It's kind of fun, but I can answer questions as we go. I'd love to know if you already have a Glowforge Aura and what you're creating with it. Are you using it for a business, a side hustle? Is it a personal? Are you personally using it? Are you thinking about getting it? And you're like, oh, I want to see what I can make with it before I make the investment. I'd love to know where kind of you guys are on your Glowforge journey. If you want to put that in the Q&A, feel free. And I can make sure I'm catering questions and comments to what your experience might be right now. And as that's going, I'm painting up my Believe in the Magic. Now, one thing to know about your Glowforge Aura is that you do have a filter that you need to use. You can either purchase a filter that goes to the side of your Glowforge Aura, and you have a 4-inch tube that comes out of the back of the Aura into the filter. You can also filter out a window. Like right now, because the filter seems to make a little bit more noise, I have my tube filtering out the window. And you can just add, if you're going to filter it out the window, I add a dryer vent, a window dryer vent on my window so that it kind of seals off the opening, and just the fumes go out the window and they don't come back into the room. It does have a fragrance to it, so if you didn't vent it, that smoke would come back into the room. So you definitely have to have a ventilation system, either at the side vent or a window solution. Either one will work. All right, and I'm going to share my screen again so you guys can see how this is working through. And then we'll come back and watch it. So as it's going through, I can watch the countdown and know how quickly it's making its progress. So it's got like a minute left on it. And then once it's done, it will actually say, okay, I'm cooling down. I'm going to leave this screen up so you guys can see what the software tells you. It just says, wait a moment, it's going to cool down, and then we can go open it and bring it over. And then I'll show you how to do a name, which I think the names are like my favorite because that is so personalized. Thing you really can't get anywhere else using the names. It's just, it really is a cool little thing. Cool way to use it. Okay, so we've got 15 seconds. Is everyone excited? This is me. I stand around and I'm just like, okay, are you done? Now, one thing I will tell you, just like a plant, I gave my Glowforge a name and I call her Glowy. So when she's working hard, I'm like, oh, Glowy's going. Okay, see now it says cooling down and you just wait for a minute to allow any smoke to clear and minimize smell. So I just have to wait for a couple seconds, and as soon as I'm done, it says, okay, we're done. Let's go check it out. So let me stop share here and we'll go over to the machine. Okay, now I can pop this out. Now you don't have to do these as two separate, you don't have to do these as two separate cuts, if you will, cuts or prints. You get that. See if I can get it better. Okay, so you don't have to do this as two separate. You can do this as one, you can do this as one cut. So I could have cut it out and done the engraving at the same time. Now, the only reason I put this extra piece on the back was just in case something were to go through. It didn't, so I'm fine having that there. Now, if I wanted to, I could add my color, my painting. If you wanted to make some color into this, you could add your color now using acrylic, like your paint pens or something like that. You can add that right into there if you want to. But if not, let's just pull this off, get the big reveal. I love this. And you can even put, you can just something to think about for futures, you can engrave pictures onto the design if you wanted to. So you can engrave a picture of the person onto here. It's really so cute and so versatile what you can create. Look at that. So that's in there. I didn't have to do anything. It just went, it engraved it right in there. And some people use like Gorilla Glue or duct tape for these little pieces. Let's try this. I have this painter's tape next to me. I haven't done that. I've watched people do it, and usually I struggle through it, getting all the little pieces of masking tape off just with my fingernails. So let's try this and see if that works. Oh, look at that. See, it comes right off there. Now you will notice that there's a little bit of like burnt residue, and there it'll get on your fingers as well. You can just take a little alcohol, like a little cloth with alcohol on it, and rub it, and that will take that off as well. And if you get a little bit of burn residue on the side, same thing. You can just take your cloth and rub that right off. Okay, so this one gets the little smiley face on it. And again, if I wanted to, I could have painted her name on there, filled that in, that engraving in with her name. So these are the kinds of things you could take pre-orders for and or sell online, maybe not so easily at a fair. But again, that customization, that community customization is so incredible of what you can do with these. Okay, so let me grab my glue. Just use my E6000 here. I have a little tube of E6000. I maybe should have grabbed that. But we're just going to put this on here. So I don't need to put a whole lot of adhesive all over it. I just need to get it in most of the spots. I'm just going to put that on there. whatever you feel like you need. You probably are a crafter, you know how much adhesive you like to use. Get that little up there. Okay, and then I'm just going to line that right up in the center. How cute. There we go. All right, so now that we've got our first one completely done, let's talk about adding hardware onto your keychain. So one thing you can do is there are these cute little, let's see, let's grab a yellow one. There are these cute little rings from Creatology section, and they just open up like that. And you can pop that right on there and make a very cute keychain, just like that. It can be a bag tag, it can be a keychain. You can add the balls to it. So this one has stretch to it. This one doesn't have stretch to it. But you can add the little balls to it. These are just wooden balls that I put on there. And I did paint this one in. So let me get that out of the light so you guys can see. I just did the white acrylic paint on this little guy. Like that. Very fun. So for this though, if I wanted to add a keychain to it, I could just take a jump ring, and it really depends on what size you want to use, what size jump ring you want to use. I'm going to go with a little bit of a medium, what I consider a medium size. This may be a small size. And I usually like to do 2 jump rings, and I'll use my tweezers. So we'll just do the tweezers here, like that, and pop that in. And then I'll add my other jump ring onto it and then close those together. And close that up and seal that up. And now I can add this to any type of jump ring I want to. So if I wanted to, I could just use a little clip like that. Michael's right now has really colorful, in the jewelry section, has some really colorful jump rings and things and keychain closures that are super cute. I could add that type of closure to it if I wanted to. That's kind of what I have on this one here. I just put that onto there, which is really fun. So you can do any way you want to go. I could even just add it with another little keychain here. This is just made with fake leather and this clamp, and then I can just put that right on there like this. And now I have a super fun keychain. You could have different, if you do different types of keychains like that, you can kind of partner that up, even add a little bit of the balls on it if you wanted to, and give it another, what do you call it, like another piece to it. Anytime you can add something to it, you can increase the price. So there is even in Glowforge a super cute, there's a cute fringe. So you can make a leather fringe and add that to your keychain. So you can now have your keychain like this. And so you've got a little bit more on there. If I can get it all arranged. And this one, this one's also the elastic kind. I may have had too many balls on that one. This is the elastic kind, so this one will stretch as well. There. So there we go. That one will stretch out as well. So you can put that on your wrist. You could use elastic rope if you wanted to. But how fun is that? And now you've got really a whole statement keychain that you're selling or gifting to somebody. You could paint the wood here a different color if you wanted to. You could make it double-sided and engrave something on the back if you wanted to. That's always fun. Okay, so let's see, where are we with our other parts? This one, now that you've seen how to do the jump ring, it's so easy. You just grab your jump ring, and actually I'll come back to this one and add my hardware while we're actually cutting out a name. So why don't we I'm going to jump back and share my screen again, and I'm going to this time change this out with a name. So instead of having these layers, I'm going to delete this. And we'll just kind of delete this one too. Okay, so if I'm going to add, if you want to do custom keychains with names out of acrylic or wood, you can use a lot of different surfaces, a lot of different types. Let's see, maybe I'll do one for the name Sadie. And so you type in the name and you hit enter. And then I can change the typeface that I want. I can pick a different font if I want it to be, something elegant. This dancing script is really pretty, and you can see what it's going to look like before you bring it in. So I'll put that on there. Now, the cool thing about this is in the software, you can change the size of it by going down to the little ruler, and I can change the size of this to be, let's say, 2 3/4 wide. Because what I'm going to add onto this is an outline. Onto the letters. Now I can still come in and I can still change the font if I wanted to, and I could go for like a font that's a little bit bolder. So I could kind of get the bold look on that if I wanted to. If you wanted to do like a text font, you could just not do it as a cursive, but just do it more individual letters. You can do that. I kind of like I like the text fonts, but you also have like the retro fonts to choose from. Like the Pacifico is always a cute one. Like how cute is that? So if this is the font I want to do, and I'm going to keep it at about 2 3/4 inch, I need to add a circle for the hole. So let me stop share here and just show you. So I need to add the little circle here for the keychain, the key ring to go into. And it can be bigger or smaller, whatever you'd like it to be. I think I tend to go a little bit on the bigger side. So let's see if we can get a little bit smaller than I tend to do it. But what to add your circle for the hole, you're going to come up to the top here and just add the shape. So you insert the shape, and I'm just going to insert a circle. And my circle needs to be small. So like 1/4 inch is usually what I do. Let's go smaller. Let's do half of it. So let's do 1/8 inch on my circle, which is really tiny. That too small? It might be too small. Let's do 0.15 down at the bottom. Okay, so we've gotten a little bit bigger. Now that's where the holder for the keychain is going to go. I can move that over the hole over to the left. I can move it to the right. You can put it wherever you'd like to put it. Here's the fun part. We're going to select both of these layers, and over to the side here, we're going to select, let me see if you can see it. I lose both of my layers selected. I'm selecting both of my layers by just taking my cursor and dragging around it. And then I'm going to do the create outline. So you create an outline, and you can say how big you want the outline to be. So I'll start at 1/4 inch, and I hit, okay, let's create that outline and see what it looks like. So it's just thinking for a second. Give it 1 second to keep thinking. Okay, so now you can see the red outline is the outline. I think I can go a little bit smaller on my outline, so I can bring that in about to 0.15 and still have a very nice outline on my name. It takes it to about 3.18 inches. So that's a great size. Now I need to take the circle, this little circle, and the cut piece and attach those together. So the way to do that is you have to select the little circle, hold down your shift, and then select your outline. You right click on this and you say group. Now when it cuts, it will hold the little circle together, and it will hold the outline together, and it will cut those together. Then for my name, Sadie, I could engrave it if I wanted to do that on, say, a piece of wood and have it engraved, or I could cut this out. So I'll cut that out of different wood. So my first wood, I'm going to kind of put that aside. My first piece here, I'm going to cut out of, where did I put the wood? Here we go. I'm going to cut the back of it out of this medium cherry hardwood. So I'm going to go over to my Glowforge. I'll stop sharing here and we'll put it back on the Glowforge. Let's add that spotlight. So I'm going to go over and put this one onto the surface of my Glowforge. And you'll see in the software, it will recognize that material and it will cut that material. So I'll share my screen again. Now it says medium cherry hardwood, and I can move around here and get my name, the background piece here, exactly positioned on the wood where I want it to go. I can rotate it and line it up here with things I've cut before, or I can just kind of push it over to the side here like that, which is kind of what I want, but I prefer it not to be over on the edge there. Let me just move this slight bit closer here. Okay, so as I move it on the bed, it also moves on here. So see how it moved? And I can just move that over just a little bit right there. Okay, so then again, when we're ready, we just hit print and it will prepare that to print and start printing. Now the other part of it, the veneer part of it will take I tested it out earlier. It might take a little bit longer on the veneer to do the veneer part of it, but we'll just give that a shot. Let's see. So, oh, let me stop share here, sorry. So you can see how this is working away. And I'm still painting on this as I'm working on that. So we always, okay, now my little light is flashing and I'm ready to go check it out. So I'll push this and we'll start cutting the cherry wood. So like this, on my desktop here, the orange is going to be the background of this one, but it's going to be this cherry wood, which is the color, this color here, which is really pretty. And then I've got a veneer to go with it. Now, one thing, if you're doing a lot of names and you don't want to, you want to make sure you know where to line up your pieces, you could always add a score line inside the name that you're putting on that keychain. So I could have added a score line on this keychain that would show me where to line up the pieces, especially if you're doing a lot of little pieces. You could do that right on there. Okay, so here we've got this keychain, and I have these 3 jump rings to put together for this keychain here, and got my hardware kind of all over. So while that's cutting, we're going to put this together, and then we'll work on our pumpkin while we cut the other piece. So please do, and I keep saying, please ask questions. If you have questions, please do ask away. That's what I'm not like a professional Glowforge expert, but I am a craft expert and I've been working with my Glowforge now for quite a while. So it's fun and I learned a lot through experimenting. I don't have all the answers for this, but I've really learned a lot through just experimenting as I'm going along. I think for this one, I don't need the extra chain, so let me grab another piece of hardware I might have. I don't know about you guys, but if you're going to start a business making keychains, you'll probably end up with a bag full of hardware that you just have little pieces of different things that you'll be able to pull out and go, oh, I think I want to use this one, or I think I want to use that one. This one here. Now, one thing I could do, you could add a ribbon and attach this with a ribbon, or I could just attach this right here like this. And I'll just add this on. It's a nice little push there. So there we go. Now I'm hoping this is all dry. Probably if I were doing this at home for myself, I would leave these overnight to dry. And then I would just kind of come back in the morning and remove my backing here, my masking pieces. And come back in the morning and do that. But since we're live on live television here, We'll just do this. This one's still got a little bit of wiggle on it. This one's not quite adhesive enough. Now, if you have adhesive that got onto your piece that you didn't intend to have that adhesive there, you can use a little alcohol and clean it up. Just rub around the piece with a little bit of alcohol to clean that up, and we'll take the back piece off here. I would recommend, if you're making a business, to cut out tag holders for your keychains if you're selling them or gifting them. And you can even put like a little mark here, a little indication there of your name, so they know where, or your website, so they know where to order more keychains as they want more keychains. Okay, so guess what? That one just ended. So let's add back the spotlight here. And we'll pull this out. So you can see up there in the corner, I've got the safety. Now, sometimes if I'm gonna flip it around or something, I'll hold my wood in place and use like a piece of tape and pop that out so my wood doesn't move on me. But you can see it cut through the back there. And then we are going to put in this cherry veneer. Now, this is a bigger piece, so I need to open up the side door of my tray. I'm going to just open up the side door. Oops, one side. Okay, so let's just open up that side door, and I'm going to put my material in, and it'll see the QR code. There we go. So do you see how I did? You probably didn't, yeah, you saw how I opened up the side door and I slid that in. Now, when I go over to my next piece, I'm just going to take this background piece and I'll slide that out of the way. And then we will bring in this piece for our next cut. And we're going to just bring this back in. So it'll register and pick up where that is. I'm just going to pull this one out. A little bit on the top there. Feel that out there. Okay. So this one I just am going to pop that right off there. And I had to tear it just a little bit. If I were doing that, I would, if that happened, like something got stuck there, like that piece did, I'd go on the back and just with an X-Acto and I trace over the lines that I want to cut as I go. Okay, so I'm not sure, this didn't register. So let me open up that door again and see if I can get it to register. Want to register that material on the side. So now my print's been canceled. Okay, now it's there. And if you notice up at the top, now it changed to a thin cherry veneer. So I'm just going to, I'll put her name right here and we can cut that out. So when I do my cuts, I try to avoid cutting on the actual, like where the QR code is, because I want to be able to use that over and over again. Okay, let's stop share there. As it's thinking about what it's doing, I'll let you know when I'm ready to send it over. You'll see the light flash. So this wood is so pretty. It's got like a really nice shiny finish to it. That's one reason I love using this wood. And pop that through. Okay, so my light is flashing. I'm going to go over and turn that baby on. There we go. Now this one may take a little bit longer than the other one did. Let me double check on our timing on how long it will take. And I hope I did it as a cut. I did it as a cut. It'll take 6.5 minutes. So we'll get to see it before the end of the workshop here. So I'm just going to get this prepped. This is the keychain. It's here. Okay, so that's ready when her name comes out. And we finished with that one, so I think my pumpkin is the last one that I'm working on. So I had that little piece that came off, and that's okay, I'm gonna tuck him in. But right now, I just wanna make sure that the other pieces stayed down. And they did. They feel very glued down. Oops, that guy. Just move those around a little bit. There we go. All right, now we grab. All right, I'm gonna grab another E6000. This is my little tube, and hopefully this guy won't push off too much of it. My little piece here needs to just go on the side right there. So we'll just see if we can get a little piece of it. A little piece of work in here. Yeah, it'll be better if I squirt a little bit out. And then dip it into there. Just don't want to get too much adhesive onto it. You can also use your little pliers here, the little pieces on there. Get invented with these little parts here. Just put that down there. Okay. Now while that is drying, as we expect it to be, I'm gonna pop out my smile here. We'll save that one for something else. You can always use an orange smile for something. And then we'll just take off our piece here. I'm always amazed at how my weeding tool, I can run it on the acrylic and it doesn't mar the acrylic. So I do it very carefully though. I kind of push in from the side and then I pull up and I don't scratch the acrylic. So got that there. And then I'll just put more adhesive on the back like we did last time. Make sure I don't get too much on there. So these little guys come in little packages. I think of like 3 or 4. So they're kind of always a good thing to have around your craft space. I'm just gonna spread this out so I don't get it goofy underneath one spot. I should say too goofy. There you go. So I've got that nicely spread out. We're just gonna flip this over. How fun to have this. Now for this keychain, you could instead of doing like key rings like this or the other things, you could grab your elastic cording. So let's grab some elastic cording here and the fold over elastic cording. This is great. You could make this into a bookmark like this. If you didn't want to make it a keychain, you could make it into a bookmark. You could make this as tags for the holidays. Like you could get a whole family and make all of their gift tags for the holidays. You could do this as a hostess gift. Let's see if I do a little bit here. Grab my scissors. And there's so many, you could do this as a luggage tag. There are really so many uses for tags. I don't know. I'm always putting tags on things. Okay, so let me just cut this here. Let me just put this on there. And while this is drying, my little guy's drying there. We're going to do that. Okay, so I could put a knot here if I wanted to, or I could just start probably putting beads on. Beads there. Now, I probably would be smart if I had a needle and I could thread this through with a needle. That would be smart. Instead of trying to jam it in, but you know, we're just gonna jam it in. That's how we roll. So I would say if you're gonna do this, definitely grab a thread, a needle, like one of those big embroidery type needles that you use for yarn or your upholstery needles. Those are easy to work with. Probably easier than your weeding tool, but I'm going to get the idea here. know it wants to go in there and come out. There it is. All right, so I would add probably like 2 or 3 more beads on here. And look at how cute is that. And get that white, that extra white off. I may need to come back and put a little bit more adhesive on these pieces. They're kind of wiggling around on me. Just a little bit. So yeah, I would definitely put more adhesive on it so that it doesn't wiggle around on you. There we go. How fun. How fun is that? And you can put little keychains, little extra keychains on there. Really like that dry, looking up to that. And then little extra, put more beads on there and you're ready to go. We've got some really fun holiday looks going on. Okay. I think this one we're ready to see. Hopefully my paint's still drying a little bit. So I would be probably at regularly be a little bit more patient and let your paint go all the way through. But I know I'm anxious to see if it works. It really does work, especially if you do like an engraving like this little ghost. So I've not done with this narrow bit before. So I'm hoping. I think this would be super cute for the holidays. And if you were going somewhere, like a special event, you can make a special keychain for that event. Or gift tag, like if you're giving a gift, an event as a gift, you could do that. Oh, I'm nervous. I need somebody to hold my hand. Look at that. I'm not going to do any more. I want this to dry. But you guys can see already how cute. And if I had engraved it, if I had painted the engraving, the letters would be painted pink instead of just that little outline there. All right, now our last piece has cut through. We go grab that and we'll bring it back over. I'm gonna make sure I get the eye. I don't know when to start my eye. Okay, so here's my wider piece. Now you can take these wider pieces of material and like cut it and then move your realign it and then cut it again so that you can get that larger, that allows you to get this really larger 24-inch base to cut through. As I mentioned, this veneer has a 3M material on the back of it, which is adhesive already. So I can just peel that off. And had I wanted to make sure exactly where my letters were going to line up, I could have done a scoring line, which would show me where my letters go. So, oh, look how cute this is going to be. There's the S. Now I just need to push out. I don't want to lose my eye. The dot. Go like this and like this. So again, there is a little bit of a burn on the side of it. You can take a towel and wipe that off, or use like a little alcohol wipe and wipe that off. And it does get on your fingers a little bit, so I always try and have a rag handy so I can rub off. I didn't intend to have on there. You know, I can clean my fingers as I go. Okay, last one here. This is the little piece, so tiny. There we go. So this is the veneer, has the adhesive already on the back of it. And it's the proof grade material. So I don't have to really think too hard about it. I can put it right in the machine. It gives me nice cuts. Okay, push everything down. And we'll just take this off. So that being that these were both cherry, the colors blend in really nicely. So it gives it almost like a monochromatic look. Isn't that pretty? I love this. How many keychains has everybody going to make for the holidays or after your craft fair? These are the kinds of things that you can master and make all year long. Just change your, like if you have a zip code that you're going to a market for, you can have these for the zip code. You could do these for, you know, new car dealers maybe would want you could go see if you can get an account at a dealership and make keychains when people purchase a car. Isn't that beautiful? So we've made quite a few different keychains with quite a few different ways to make them into keychains. We got the different types here. I just wish I had more time for that to dry for you. All right, Felicia, are there any questions that we didn't get answered? I can answer those now if you had any. If not, if you had any last minute questions, this is a good opportunity to ask those questions.
Yeah, so far I don't have any questions at this time. We're already 8 minutes over the hour.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we can just wrap this up then. I hope everybody is excited about making keychains. Don't forget this was recorded, so you'll be able to go back and watch the recording. And please do tag us in what you make. Michael's Learn with Michael's. Tag us in your projects. I'd love to see what you create. Thank you all for joining us.